Hey everyone, Kyle here, Collecting America's Pastime. Hope you guys are having a great finish to your Sunday. Hope you guys had a nice long weekend, spent it with family, friends, and with sports. It was a great sports weekend. Your typical, Kyle video Akron update is Akron basketball beat Milwaukee on Saturday, 105 to 81. They have one of the best offenses in college basketball. Wasn't a clean game and still won by 24. So that was excellent. Akron soccer today beat Duke in the Sweet 16, 2-0. They now advance to the Elite Eight and will host St. Louis, who knocked off 11 seed Bryant. So one went away from the College Cup, which would be awesome. Stanford went down, so really a bunch of the top seeds are gone, and Akron has a real opportunity to get a second star. They won the national championship back in 2010 after losing it the previous year in PKs to Virginia. They had a couple of years where they were down after Caleb Porter left and went to the MLS, and then from like 2015 to 2018, they had four straight college cups. So, or three out of four college cups, something like that. And one of them, they lost to Maryland in the national championship. So, still seeking the second star, but this year's a good opportunity. So, that Elite Eight matchup will be next Saturday on ESPN Plus. I think 4 o'clock. So, if you want good college soccer, tune into that. My Browns suck, so fire Stefanski. I've been beating that drum for a very long time. So, anyways, I don't have much else to talk about on the football side. Go Duke next week for the ACC championship game. Really want to see no ACC team get in, and I want Tulane and James Madison to make the playoff. That would be awesome, and it would really screw up things for the suits that the overlords of college football. So, anyways, wanted to make a quick video. I have had a few mail days that I've been kind of just waiting to trickle in before I made this, and I have a huge video to make this week, possibly tomorrow. I'm waiting to see if one of the packages comes in, or the last package comes in. So wanted to get this one out. So anyways, without further ado, the first of the mail days was a pair of cards. I bought these together off Facebook. I had previously passed on this first one. It was a T206 Jack Chesbro. I'd previously passed on this. It didn't. Jack Chesbro is one of those where he doesn't have too many cards that are especially easily obtainable. So his T206 is the most common, and because of the scarcity with his other cards, or lack of quantity in general, his T206 is climbing in price, and I got this one for probably as cheap as I'll ever get a Jack Chesbro. It has its obvious flaws. I don't love that the name is kind of marked off by some cardboard loss, I guess. Don't love that. The top left corner missing doesn't really bother me as much as the name, but I got it for a price that I'll probably never get a Chesbro at. So, but I used it to help bring down the price of this other one, which is a 1914 T213 Clark Griffith. To my knowledge, this is my first ever T213. For those of you who don't know, these were made a few years after the T206s. They have blue text for the name on the bottom, and then the back is a coupon cigarettes back. So, which did not appear in the original T206 set. They are allegedly distant cousins, I guess, of the T206s. But this Clark Griffith I didn't have, and 1914 was actually, I believe, his last year. in the majors, and I think he only played one game, but it counts. 1914's on his plaque for the Hall of Fame, so it counts towards the project. So knock these two off the list. Next up, this actually has not come in yet. This is supposed to be coming in tomorrow with one of the packages. I'm waiting for my big video, but it does not fit the big video, and so I didn't want to include it. So kind of jumping the gun here. This is a 1925-31 W590 Bucky Harris. I won a card with Greg Morris Cards, and I've talked about this before. I like to, just kind of spread out the shipping costs through as many cards as possible, if it makes sense. This W590 Bucky Harris, I already have a Bucky Harris 53 Bowman color, or Bowman black and white. I think black and white, but I looked on Card Ladder and I didn't see too much sales history for it, and it stayed under $10. So I was like, well, let's just throw it in, get a pre-war Bucky Harris going, and so yeah, nice little card. These are hand cut, so they're designed to be hand cut, so the flaws on it don't really bother me. And again, it was really cheap. So, and then lastly, I was able to pick up a T206 Elmer Flick from a buddy of mine. He's in Tobacco Row. He's local. He actually lives in the city that Elmer Flick, I believe, died in, which is not too far from me, 10-15 minutes away. He's a huge Elmer Flick collector. I had sold him, I believe, this exact card a couple of years ago as I was, transitioning out, knowing that he's a Elmer Flick collector, and he stopped in the card shop a week or two ago, and he's looking at moving out of his T206s and T205s so that he can upgrade his 1933 Gowdy set, which is a tremendous set, or his set's tremendous. So we're working with him to see if we can do a deal, and he was gracious enough to give me this T206 Elmer Flick back. So Jack, if you see this, thank you very much for that, and really appreciate the generosity there. So yeah, so I have a T206 Elmer Flick again, which is nice. So that's it for the mail days. Again, like I said, it was real quick. Spreadsheet progress, I am at 201 out of 351 Hall of Famers, which is good for 57.26%. I know previously I said I would get to 200 and then stop until pretty much Strongsville. The T2 13 Clark Griffith kind of threw a wrench in those plans, along with the pairing it with the Jack Chesbro, and then getting the Elmer Flick back also kind of ran that number up. And then I still have a card on the way from COMC, which is huge for the Hall of Fame project, but it has not shipped yet. Surprise, surprise. So hopefully that ships this week and I have it within the next week and a half. But that'll be my last Hall of Fame project mail day probably for a while. So excited to make the video this week. That'll be huge. I'm not going to give you any spoilers, but it's a big part, or a big accomplishment for my collection, and largely completes one of the sub projects I've been working on. If you guys remember all the projects I showed in my first I'm back video. So anyways, thank you very much for watching. Hope you guys had a nice Thanksgiving, and live free, dream big.